Greetings. I've just setting this up, so give me a moment. Seven. Hello, everyone. One moment. Let's go with Fn2. Modified. So it's a bloody cold Monday. We all know it's bloody cold, don't we? I don't have to tell you that. Right. Hello, Peter. Hello, Balrog. Hello, Roger. Hi, Roger. You've just said when's your next live chat. Wanted me to do one, so thank you for that, Roger. Hello, Big Reddies. So what am I doing? I'm doing some paperwork. I'm trying to keep warm in this office. Been talking a lot about K20s today, K20 swaps into various different Hondas. And we're coming across this constant thing where people are asking how much is it to do, and then we have to try and explain what level of work we're going to do to put that K20 in anything. So people are saying, well, I've had a quote for X amount, and then we're giving them options. So we're saying to them, do you want your engine bay painting? Do you want a new timing belt, a new clutch, a full service? What parts have you got? What parts are we supplying? So often when people message us on Facebook talking about K20 swaps and things like that, they say how much. And the question really is a little bit like how long is a piece of string, because there's a lot that goes into it. So we always sort of go back to the cars that we've already done, and we say, here's an example of the work that we've done, and if you want it to that spec, that costs that chap this much money. And they're like, how much? But then we remind them that, you know, there's the mapping involved, there's the custom exhausts, custom intakes, painted engine bays, painting engines and gearboxes, new clutches. So yeah, all right, someone can throw a K20 engine in anything. But it's not really what we do here. We want you to be able to drive your car in, drive out, and go straight to a show, pop your hood, and people are like, wow, that's amazing. And it's powerful. So that's sort of what we want. So I'm doing a lot of that today, doing a lot of quotes. A lot of people still, even during this COVID period, where we struggle to have customers here and things like that, we're still getting a lot of interest in the work that we class as long-term ramp stuff. So whilst the slow term or the short-term stuff slow down, like servicing and exhaust and things like that, the stuff that we do need as a business to survive, the long-term projects are still very, very much on the case. We've had an EP3 booking today for restoration underneath. We've got a skyline in the workshop that's being restored. We've still got work to do on the Supra, but we're sort of holding fire on some of our own projects, like the 40-year-old brown Colt that's having a Honda engine put in it. Hold fire in case we do have our doors forcibly shut. At the moment, we're being very sensible. At the moment, we're saying, if you're not in the local area and it's not essential, then realistically, we need to wait. Like the power runs on Saturdays, currently cancelled. We can accept you if you're in the local area, and we suggest that you might have a fault that can be fixed in the workshop. If your car's in this workshop for brakes or a clutch, then whilst it's here, we can put it on the dyno. It makes no difference. Car's here anyway. The customer's not here, so we've got the car. It's already essential work, and we're getting stuck into it. So that's sort of where we're at with that, which I'm happy to say is keeping us ticking over at the moment. I'm not going to lie, I am a little bit worried about the economy. I know that orders that I'm shipping out to Europe are becoming more difficult to do. There's a lot more paperwork involved now if you're exporting stuff, and of course I do export a lot. As you guys know, about 10% of my business is Colts. So that 10% of the business seems to be exactly where it's always been. We're still relatively good with that. Still shipping parts out. A lot of that's in the UK. But some of the business, the ad hoc stuff, I think is going to slow down. And it does worry me a little bit. So that's why I continue to appreciate your support, especially on YouTube. When on YouTube at the moment, it gives us the opportunity to have a little chat, doesn't it? You can put something in the comments like Roger's just done there. I can't even get out of my own town with this lockdown. It's brutal. Yeah, man, it is. I had to go to Lancaster yesterday on a Sunday to take my lad back to university. And on the way there wasn't a single car on the M6. Not one. I was never at any point behind a car. On the way back, however, there was a lot of traffic on the M6 and a lot of police stopping vehicles. Now, I can understand that on a Sunday, when we're all supposed to be at home, they could say, hey, where are you going and what are you doing? And at that point, I'd be quite happily explain to the police exactly what was happening. But yeah, the lockdown is harsh for everybody, and not just harsh in the sense of do what we want to do, but it's harsh in the sense of mental health for people. And I did a little video last week, which I hope you all get to watch, about mental health and the car scene. And really, we've got to be looking after not only each other, but we've got to be looking after ourselves. And if you think a little drive in the car is good for your mental health, then do it. Then just do it. And let's be honest, if they're really, really going to find you out when you're actually out isolated in your own of the car, so be it. A little drive out in your Civic or your Colt or something like that, or anything, if you enjoy driving, it's got to be good for you. And if anyone is hard pressed to tell you that that's wrong, I disagree. Now, obviously, with this COVID stuff, we've got to abide by the rules, and we've got to safeguard people, and we really do need to make sure that the elderly and the vulnerable are all looked after. But if you're just in your car on your own, I really don't see the problem. And maybe I'm wrong for thinking that, maybe, but I really don't think so. I really think the best thing that can be done is for us to all look after our mental health. I think my mental health I'd struggle with my mental health if I wasn't at work. I enjoy doing my little packages and getting them out and stuff. So that one's to go. Yeah, and going back to the cars and the parts and stuff like that we're doing, I've got loads of stock. So I'm not necessarily worried about me personally, but there are other businesses out there that can't get the stock in. And thankfully, we do stock up now at Dynodaze. I know what sort of sells a lot, so I try and buy it. When I've got the money and when I've got the capabilities, I try and get some stock. Whether that's exhausts or manifolds or injectors, whatever I sell quite a bit of, I always try and keep. And so worst case scenario is if they shut the doors on us, I could always sit here and just sell the stock I've got in the storeroom, and I'd be all right. Danny Easton, still busy up north. It's all tradesmen and factories up here. Yeah, and gravy on your chips, Northerners. Yeah, it was a great video, Dan. You're not wrong. Driving is my escape. Yeah, Roger. I mean, I took the diesel Colt with me to Lancaster yesterday, and whilst it returned great miles per gallon and probably saved me a fortune, I had my lad in the car on the way up there, so I was driving nice and steady as I always do. But on the way back, if I'd have had the Fn2, I'd have enjoyed that drive a lot more. Some tunes on, some drive-ins, getting my toe down when I can, when it's safe to do so. I think I'd have had a better Sunday. But I went in the Colt. And whilst the Colt's brilliant and it's comfy and it's warm and it does what it needs to, it's not your fun Sunday car. It's your daily that you go to work in. So, but saved me a load of money. And kids, they cost you a fortune. So I took my lad back to university and said goodbye to him. And hopefully I'll see him again at Easter, which will be nice. And then he'll be back for the summer to get a job. I'm really proud of him actually at the moment. All this COVID stuff, he's still studying hard, and it's got to be hard. It's got to be hard for people at university and away from home for the first time. Yeah, so proud of him getting up there, getting stuck in and stuff. I'm sitting at the desk trying to keep warm. It's a diesel. You're right, Peter. It is a diesel. But I love it. And do you know what? For £200, that car proves to me that you can be on the road for cheap as chips and be safe. So, and you could, you know, some people's pride and joy is their diesel Colts. And honestly, there's some really nice ones about. I've got a friend called Sam, and he's got a grey Mitsubishi Colt diesel, and it's immaculate. It's lovely, and it'd make anyone proud. It's a great car. But mine was a £200 car. So when I say, you know, it's not very interesting, it's not my pride and joy. It is just a daily, and it does its job. And I'm sure there are people out there with diesel Colts, and they think they're the bee's knees, and they're an absolutely great car. But it wasn't what I was buying to enjoy. It was what I was buying as a tool, and it does that job really very well. Sending more parcels out, so I'm going to continue with this. So guys, what is everybody doing today? Are you all at work? Are you at home? Are you snowed in? It's dry here out, so it's cold, but it's dry. It's not raining. Apparently we've got weather warnings for flooding and all sorts, and when you northerners, when that snow thaws out, you're going to be underwater, aren't you? So where are you? What are you doing? Let me know. I'm just sending parts out. I've been trying to buy used parts today. Can't get hold of the ones that I need, which is a bit depressing because I've got things to do. Jason's breaking a Colt. Doing drive shafts today. Roger, what car's that on, drive shafts? Remind me. It's got to be an Fn2 if you're doing drive shafts. If you're doing plural shaft, it's got to be an Fn2. Never snowed. Are you sure it didn't snow, Daddy? And then the pollution just didn't, like, kill the snow before it hit the floor? Yeah, Fn2, Roger. Thought it would be. I've heard of them breaking shafts. I've not seen it myself, but I have heard of it. Get that bathroom fitted, Pete. I want a nice job doing. Cleanest air in the country. I am gifting everyone who subscribes to me. Gifting what, dude? What are you gifting? Doing both sides. Where you had them shafts from, pal? I've seen some uprated Teguar ones, and the CV boots don't last 20 seconds. See you later, Pete. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it. Cleanest air. Here, I've got the cleanest air. It's all been kicking off with the CZTOC these last couple of days, hasn't it? It's like EastEnders. If you follow that, if you follow the CZTOC, it's all a bit EastEnders. Conrad. JR stuff, Roger. That's all good, mate. That's all good. We've used that ourselves here. We've used that on the EG Civic, the JR shafts. They're all good. Salute. Hey buddy, hope you're well. Harrogate, sitting at home and grieving on my Honda Civic. Mate, is that it? Have you looked at that Civic now? Is it dead? I can't believe we literally made a small, tiny little YouTube video walking around it, and I was thinking, that's really, really nice. I like that. And then someone killed it on the way home. Was it actually on the way home, Conrad, that somebody smashed into you? You like meth and baby dogs? Do I like drugs and puppies? I'm going to show that just so that you guys can see that. You like meth and baby dogs? I don't know. I like water methanol injection because I use that a lot. I do use water methanol injection. Baby dogs, puppies. Who doesn't like puppies? I'm not sure. Is a 5-volt power source in the Fn2 door card? I'm fitting puddle lights in my door card. Just wondering where I can get the power from. They have got lights, haven't they? In the door cards as you open them. They're red, I think. I am gifting everyone who subscribes. The gift is a subscriber. Oh, okay, cool. Oh, you talk about the light situation, the CZTOC. Yeah, James. Amongst other things, there was a little bit of an Enders moment in there, wasn't there? And I didn't get to the original post because there's more than one admin on the forum. One of the other admins picked that up, and I tried to say, look, post facts, don't get all emotional and stuff. But yeah, the joys of car clubs. That's what that is. On your way to work, Conrad. So you didn't have the dog in the car, thankfully then. Potato was safe. I'm happy to hear that, but very sorry to hear about your Civic being smashed up. It was a lovely colour as well. A white 318D. Awesome, man. Like those. Like those. Right, why... What is it? Right. Do you know what I need? Do you know what I need, guys? I need a moderator. I need a moderator on my YouTube chat thing. So if anybody is keen to be a moderator, and what that task would be is that when we have these live chats, and the more and more people join in, if you see anything suspect or someone just talking total nonsense, then you will have the ability to like go and delete that post. So perhaps that's something that somebody can help me with. Love it, drama. You do love the drama, Danny. I'm surprised it wasn't you that sorted all that out, to be fair. Conrad, that's going to be about price. That's going to be about, is it worth the money? Now, if you're insured and it pays out, awesome. If you're not, then you've got to decide whether it's worth fixing it or not. You really have to. Yes, you did flood the chat, so let's not do that. But cool. Yes, I'll subscribe. I will subscribe. Big Reddies too. I will subscribe. Bogmasher. Yes, I will be doing more mods on my Fn2. I've spoke about that recently. I'm going to be doing an M2 inlet manifold, and I'm going to be doing tests before and after and plus map to see what gains we get. I'm going to go with the M2 because I believe as a whole, it is the most affordable option for everybody. And if I can quantify what gains can be made for that M2 inlet manifold, then I can show all you guys, you can make that decision. Now, we sell that M2 manifold. I've seen it. It's good quality. I've seen it used on other people's cars that are mapped, but I don't have the figures before and after, and that's what I'd like. So I'm going to fit the M2 inlet manifold, and then I'm going to map it. Now, currently, my car does actually have an Ecotec license on it, and the reason for that is because when I fitted the Jap Speed, it had a cat light, a D-cat light on, and it's permanently in your face if on an Fn2, if you guys know that. When you get an engine management light, it's just in your face. So I turned that code off, but it's not mapped yet. I'm going to get some time mapping it, but in the first instance, I want to get an M2 inlet manifold onto it, and I want to see the gains before and after, and then I want to map it with that on it to see. There is a lot of dog shit inlet manifolds on the market at the moment. Absolute cheap Chinese nonsense, especially for the EP3s. So what we're not going to do is we're not going to test TOS unless somebody sends me one for free. I'm not interested in putting my time and effort into it. But with the M2, because it's a good brand and it's a good company that's supplying them to me, I'm going to test it, and if it makes gains, I will tell you. If it makes no gains whatsoever, I will tell you that as well. Exactly like I did with the M2 catback system, I will tell you. Ecotec for an Fn2 is a must, absolutely. I believe that to be true. I will keep some bits for myself, says Conrad, and the rest will be sold for parts. Yeah, there's got to be some good parts on there, man. You can make some money, and then you're going to have to get yourself back over abroad and pick another one up, and you're going to just have to do the same again, aren't you, Conrad? That's what you're going to have to do. Yeah, so Bogmasher, keep an eye out for more YouTube updates and stuff with the FN. I will be spending some more money on it at some point, I promise you. Right, next up is this. So bear with me whilst I just tap this in here. Jason Mollart is getting a package. Anyone got any plans for this Monday evening? Yeah, Bogmasher. I think I'm just gonna take that car as far as reasonably possible NA. I really don't want to spend billions on it. I don't want it to become a pain in the arse. Ultimately, I would probably supercharge it, but that's not happening whilst we're in this economic climate, as I'm sure you could probably imagine. I've got rent to pay. I would like to do something with my headlights on the FN. We were talking about headlights earlier on the Colt page, but yeah, I would like to do something with my headlights. I've seen there's a guy called Dan that comes here, the white one, and he's got like sort of smoked, really nice headlights. And I think it looks sick against the white bodywork. So I think I'm going to do that. 149. Springbank Road. Full name Jason Mollart. Jason Mollart. The price of shipping has gone up so much that I'm going to have to raise the prices of my sales parts, which is depressing. Only by a couple of quid, but I'm going to have to do it because shipping's just eating into my profits. And profits is key. You've already got another car coming, Conrad. You won't be able to hold that. You won't be able to hold on to that secret for more than a week. I know you won't be able to. You'll have to tell me you're rich. I know you will. So we'll soon see what that is. That'll be an EG. I bet. Yeah, man. I'm going to update you on those coilovers as soon as I can, Lewis. Oh, by the way, Lewis, you're now a moderator on this channel. So with great power comes great responsibility. So thanks for that, Lewis. And your hoodie will be out. Your hoodie will be out in the post tomorrow. Now, Lewis, I've got some parts here that have got to go to you, and I'm going to stick them in. I'll stick your hoodie in with them. But I've actually got all my hoodies at home, so I'll have to bring them in tomorrow. Let me just check this message. Stay there, guys. And I'm back. Noise. Yes, thank you, Lewis. So basically, if you just see any nonsense, I mean nonsense in the chats, please just delete it. If you see anything bizarre, just delete it, man. Right, where are we up to? Most stuff I have read seems to say that turbo is the way to go rather than supercharging, although I personally prefer the idea of keep the NA feel with the supercharging. On an FN2, absolutely supercharge it. No turbos on FN2s. There's not enough space. They set on fire. That's a fact. So stick with supercharging. Mapping's a lot easier. It's just it's a much better final product. Turbo and EP3, supercharging FN2. That's our advice there. 240 brake is where the FN2 needs to be. Is that my FN2 or your FN2? I'd be happy to see 230 brake because I'm realistic. But we will see. I still probably might do the oil pump conversion on it to get that power out of it. But I won't do that until I need to do my chain because it's all going to come off at the same time. Jonathan Hubbard. Sup, Dan? Nice to see you doing bits. Nice to see local people doing well. Thanks, mate. Thanks a lot. Trying our best, as you know. Always trying to do our best. Keep going. Got families to feed and all that nonsense, ain't we? Nonsense. You know what I mean. Everyone's got to work, ain't they? I'm up for that, good man. It pulls without the VTEC kicked in. My one has 240 brake horsepower. It pins way into the seat, mate. You got 240 brake in an FN2? It's impressive. Yeah, our dyno, it is realistic. And the reason that it's realistic, and I'm just going to quickly do this, is that our dyno can measure losses. So whilst you might see other dynos up north, they will go to the red line, and as soon as they hit the limiter, you've got a brake horsepower figure. Well, ours is different to that, because all dynos measure wheel horsepower figure. So ours goes up to the limiter, and then once we dump the clutch, it coasts down to a stop. And when it's doing the coast down on the dyno, it's actually measuring the losses. It's measuring the drag. And then it uses that figure to convert your wheel horsepower into a flywheel figure. Now, if you can imagine the losses on some cars, let's just say, for example, on a Mitsubishi Colt, the losses are generally around 13%. Now, they don't work in percentages losses, but for the sake of a dyno, let's call it 13%. If you then take your wheel horsepower figure, let's do this, of 200 wheel horsepower, and you add 13%, you get 226 brake. That's at the fly. But if you're on a different dyno that can't measure drag or can't measure losses, and you take your 200 wheel horsepower figure and they simply add 20% to the wheel horsepower figure to get the flywheel figure, you get 240 brake. And that's exactly the same power car. It's exactly 200 wheel horsepower. So then it's all about a correction figure and a calculation. And the wheel horsepower is measured. So that's why I always bang on about wheel horsepower. But with your wheel horsepower, if your dyno, ours, which we consider to be accurate, if that can measure drag and measure losses, you've got a better chance of a more educated correction figure, an educated wheel horsepower figure to flywheel figure. And in that case, that's why our dyno is more accurate. And it's why when you go to different dynos and they haven't got the same equipment because they're American-based dynos, the Americans only use wheel horsepower. They're not interested in flywheel figures or anything like that. If you've got wheel horsepower, that's what you're putting on the road as far as they're concerned. Now in Europe, Poland is where ours is made, our dyno. In Poland or Europe, all our figures are measured in wheel horse, in flywheel figures. So for instance, a Focus RS, if that's 300 brake from the factory, that's 300 flywheel figure, and it's the same as like an ST 150 or any of that nonsense. So if the Colt out of the factory makes 147 brake horsepower, that's 147 flywheel, not wheel horsepower. So in Europe, that's why a dyno created in Europe has to have this accuracy to measure drag, and your Dyno Dynamics rolling roads can't do that. Little masterclass. Master of nothing. Have you driven a supercharged Fn2? Loads of fun. Have I driven an supercharged one, Fn2? No, I've only dynoed one. I've not driven one. Not driven one. Well, maybe more aggressive cams. Yeah, but whilst my Fn2 Conrad is a nice car, I don't really want to go balls deep into it. And sure, many of you are probably the same as me. The car's great, it drives great, I enjoy it. So why do I then go and change the characteristics of it if I already enjoy it? If it was a quest for power, I'd just jump in the Evo. If it was a quest for setting my hair on fire, I'd just go take the Colt out, the K20 turbo Colt. The Fn2's comfy and lovely and beautiful to drive. I love looking at it. So I don't really want to do too much to it. I had it to buy street racers. Gordon at street racers can certainly map a car. And if he puts the wheels in the correct roller, you'll get an accurate result as well. Enough said about that. He's a good man, Gordon, and he certainly knows how to map a car. Yeah, bolt-ons are all fun, cheap, inexpensive. They can improve the car no end. Induction kits, exhaust, etc. That's what you want. Yeah, there's plenty of good Civic tuners out there, Big Reddies. Plenty of good Civic tuners out there. Some of my favourites are Paul West. Paul West is brilliant. He's the granddaddy of, I call him granddad. He's probably not that much older than me. He's a really nice gent, and I like him a lot, Paul. Who else do I like in the Civic world? J Cal. He's a lovely lad. If you know him, he does some good work. He needs to do more. I like watching it. I like his stuff. He's very good at what he does. He's a whiz kid. Scoff up at EFI, if you know him, he's a nice guy. He's really good. If you're up that way, I'd certainly consider him. EFI tuning, he's good. But it's not a dark art. It's not magic. The principles of tuning are the same across the board. And for me, no one's more experienced than our Richard, and he's the only person I trust to map my car. So that says something. Yeah, the FNs are great, Jonathan. I really like it. A lot of people said to me, oh, you should have got an EP3. I went from an EP3 to an FN. I like D-Series. Conrad, I like D-Series. I like EFI parts, Conrad. Scoff, I knew Scoff when he was sharing a unit with farm animals. When some of the walls of this unit, a goat could walk through. So he's done well, and he's a very clever man. Now, he used to work with a guy I know called Haz, and they were Nocturnal Developments, I think. And he's just such a clever, he's such a clever lad, Scoff is. And good on him for doing so well for himself. Can you switch maps on the FN2 whilst moving? I don't know the answer to that. I will find out. I will find out. I've only ever seen it done stationary, because I've only ever done it stationary. So, but whilst moving, I'd suggest probably not, because some of those, when I've made custom maps on the FN2, some of those custom maps are quite custom. And I would hate to think of something going wrong whilst you were switching between maps. So possibly not. It's probably better to do that when you're stationary, even just for safety, so you can concentrate. A jazz. I do like a jazz. Yeah, rust is the enemy. We don't like rust, do we? But K20 the world, man. K20 everything. Seen a couple of Fiestas here. K20's in. Yeah, I will check it out, man. I will check it out. When I've finished here, Big Red, when I've finished here, if on this, in the actual comments, not in the chat, but in the actual comments, if you drop a link to your page, man, I'm sure me and the rest of the Dynodaze followers will follow your channel for you. That's no problem. Still doing my packages. Hang on, I need an address. Stay there, brothers. Yeah, I want an EP3 as an investment. Not sure on whether it will appreciate or not. If you buy an EP3, Lewis, and you stick it in your garage, and it's a heated garage, and the car doesn't move, it will appreciate. Absolutely, 100% will appreciate. Do you watch Boosted Boys on YouTube? I do, Ryan. Yes, I do like them. I've been watching some of their stuff recently. Usually, when I'm sat on the toilet, I watch Boosted Boys. I don't know whether that's a coincidence or not. What's your opinion on pre-mapped ECUs, Dan? I know mine, but just curious on yours. I guess it's something everyone wonders. My thoughts are all engines can differ. Yeah, okay. So, with an FN2, I've got a friend of mine called Paul West, and he supplies a Marlin ECU, which is preloaded with an Ecutech map. Now, that's great, in my opinion, and I'm not going to pretend to be the expert on these matters, but that's the same as a bench map or a flash map. Now, the way the FN2 works is you request your AFR, and the ECU does the bit. So you're changing what you request, and then it's trying to run to that request. So you plug that into your car, and whilst it should be safe, so you can't do that on a Colt or various other cars, but you should be able to plug it into an FN and it be safe. It doesn't have the potential of live tuning on the dyno. Now, the best one in the world, an Ecutech map, is so good because the car's usually on the rolling road and you're fine tuning. Now, Paul can't fine tune a car like that by posting you an ECU, but he can talk you through it and he can get some logs. But the best result is always on the dyno with all those variables in front of you, and you can see and you can log and you can make changes. So the best map you can get on your FN2 is a live map on the dyno with Ecutech software. Your car will be safe on the ECU that you're plugging in, a Marlin one or whatever. It will be safe, but it won't be at its full potential, and that's what you need. So I hope that helps a little bit. Yeah, man, I sponsor Cowabunga Car Diaries because I enjoy that YouTube channel more than half of the bullshit I see on YouTube. Those two lads, right, I tell you, they'll go far. And the reason that they'll go far is because they're just enjoying it. They're just enjoying themselves. They're not pretending to be anything. They're not out there. They're not out there trying to get everything in the world. They're simply just having fun, and they're telling people what they're doing on their cars. And I really enjoy it. So I think everyone should enjoy Cowabunga Car Diaries. So if you haven't seen Cowabunga Car Diaries, go and check that out. They're good. And yes, I sponsor them because they're such good lads. They're really nice guys, and they're just starting out, and they've got loads of potential, haven't they? And also because I really, really enjoy their content. And you got to give a little bit of something back, ain't you? So I do sponsor them. But really nice lads, doing something that they enjoy. And like I was saying in my video the other week, you know, about mental health, if you haven't got a YouTube video right now, go and make one. You've got all the time in the world. So go and make a YouTube video, go and make a YouTube channel and get stuck in. And do something. Because other people will watch it. I know I watch all sorts. He has not ruined his Fn2. He's got his own colour schemes, and it's all personal choice. Can you do maps on Skoda Octavia VRS? Is that the TFSI? How much would it cost to have it done? Got a KO4 front mount, uprated injector, 3.0 put. Harry, that car would be best going to Artec Performance. Now they're only round the corner from us, but they are the best in the world at that engine. And that's not me blowing smoke up anyone's arse. They are, unfortunately, they are the best in the world, which is why there's a 3-month waiting list, usually. I don't know during this COVID lockdown time. But get yourself down to Artec. Artec's where it... No, it's a 180. Is it? Sorry, I'm just catching up here. I blame Jerry Constantine for the bad rare. I think you're dropping much of the tune name. Marlin works really well, but I need to tweak it necessary. That's right, Roger. Get your Marlin on a dyno, get it tuned. Make sure you check out Red Albert Performance. Yeah, I will check that out. Chris, Ben and Chris are really funny. They are really funny. I love them. They're so funny to watch. Do you know DMO DJ? Yeah, I know DMO. Well, I don't know DMO DJ, but I love watching his videos. He's such a character. He's such a character. My kids love sweets, so cold candy. Yeah. There's a plug for him. Now, 180 20 valve. It's a Mark 1. No is the answer to that, brother. Again, the reason for that is they're getting a little bit old now, and they've always suffered with sensors and boost leaks and things like that. So there's always going to be a specialist out there to map that vehicle. Now, who would I suggest for that vehicle? 180. I'm not sure. Because Gower at Artec would have been the man to do that, because it's where he cut his teeth. It's where he started. So I'd say he's still probably the best on the planet at mapping the 180, but he doesn't really take them on anymore. So that's what I would do. I would message Artec anyway. And Artec will tell you where, if they're not going to do it, they'll tell you where to go. But for sure. Oh, he owns Cold Candy. I thought he was just sponsored by him. Well, he's a good, he's funny. I like him. Something I like about DMO DJ is he's so hyperactive, ain't he? He's hyperactive. He just bounces off everything. He's like a CIVIC bouncing off the limiter all the time. He's a good. He seems to be a right character, and I like it. Some places tell me they can open the stock ECU on an Fn2 and map it. Yes. No. What they can do is they can bench map it, but those people have got absolutely no idea what they're doing, so don't do that. Yeah, you can map it with some clone tools and some KES V2 and K-tag, stuff like that, and you're basically just flashing a map to it, and that's the absolute worst thing you could do. You know, Honda reliability being overwritten by some tool on your driveway is not the way to do it. So just don't do that. If you absolutely cannot get to a dyno, then go to Paul West and buy his ECU. If you can't get here to get it mapped, then go to Paul West and buy his ECU, because he offers support and we know that it's safe, so do that. But if you can get your car tuned properly on a dyno live with as much tech as possible, then yeah, bring it to us. We'll do as good a job as anybody. He got arrested like 3 times. Who did? DMO? Yeah, Harry, just drop Artec a message. Probably ask for Ben. Ask for Ben and tell him that you got a 180, and see what they say. If they want to do it, they will, and if they won't, they'll send you in the right direction to get it done. Oh, I didn't know that, Big Reddies. I didn't know he got arrested. I knew he was having some troubles, but yeah, Ryan. Yeah, bring it to us. Be happy to help. You know we will. You know we will. Hello.
What up?
I'm on YouTube live, by the way.
Nice.
In case you needed to know that for any reason.
Oh, mate, I am dressed, so...
You are. It makes a change.
It does.
It makes a change. I
I
do like it
when...
when...
walk through my wang out.
I do like it when you walk through the office with your wang out, Luke. Sending more parcels. Let's get some more parcels then, shall we? Lewis, headed off, Dan. Awesome live. Can't wait for the hoodie to turn up more than anything else. Yeah, man, that'll go out to you tomorrow with some other parts. So we'll get that out to you. Nice plate. Thanks, mate. It's actually for the Colt, not the Civic. It's actually for the K20 turbo. So it's basically K20 Dynodaze performance parts. So looking forward to getting that on there. Yeah, excited. One of my customers recently gifted me this for the Fn2. Now, this is a hard race reinforced stabiliser bushing, and I believe this goes between the bar and the actual rear beam. There is a rubber one in there. I can't see it doing much, but it's a hard race part. And as you guys know, I test everything before I sell it. So I'll fit this. I might not be able to... feel a difference at all, but what I will do is I will tell you about the quality and how easy it is to fit. Yes, Luke, of course you can come to England, and you can stay on my couch, and you can eat in my house, and we will look after you. Hello, is there a chance to pull out the exhaust manifold on a Colt CZT without loosening the turbo exhaust? I think I have a crack on the manifold. No, I think you're going to have to loosen some stuff up, man. I think you're going to have to loosen it up. Especially as you're more than likely going to snap a stud and then your turbo's coming off anyway. If you want my honest opinion, take the whole front end of the car off. The bumpers, the radiator, the aircon. Take it all off. Take the slam panel off. So that all that's left in front of you is the turbo and the manifold. If you're doing it yourself, I know that sounds like a lot of work, but that's the easiest way to work on that. Yeah, Luke, we'll do that. We'll map your car for you. You know we will. I would change every single bush on an Fn2 for polyurethane. I would go Powerflex. It's my car is what, nearly 13 years old. Rubber perishes, rubber gets weak, rubber gets dry, and all sorts of stuff. It loses its properties. Rubber does. It's cheap. It's a cheap way of doing things, and swapping that all out for Powerflex stuff makes a massive difference. And theoretically, if you hadn't changed any other parts on your car apart from the bushes to polyurethane Powerflex, it would actually drive better than it did when it came out of the factory. So, but I would definitely do it. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not an easy job, but it's well worth doing it, and especially on the rear beam of the Fn2. The Fn2 rear beam is a nightmare. So get them bushes, press into that rear beam, and that will transform how the car drives anyway. Yeah, it is. Well, I don't know what your class is expensive. It depends. Some people are expensive, but some people, like me, I'm one of these people that only really spends money on a car when it needs it. I know that sounds ridiculous, but if I've got one shock that's got a problem, I'll buy a set of coilovers. If I've got if I've got an alloy that's flaking and it's seen better days, I'll buy a set of alloys. I sort of convince myself to spend the money by doing that. I actually don't just go kablamo and spend money. There's always got to be a reason for me spending money. Big Reddies, what what is your channel predominantly about? That's a good question. TN91PE. Hang on 1 second. Back, my phone is ringing. You're live. It says to me, you're live. Wow. I'm live. Am I alive, or is this all a simulation, the Matrix? Because you're definitely controlled. Is it all a dream? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, Bobby Ewing. You know, most of you probably aren't old enough to remember Dallas. Dallas was ace. How many bushes can you change on a Colt? Well, you can change lower arm bushes, anti-roll bar bushes, drop link bushes, rear beam bushes, rear top mount bushes. There's quite a bit you can change on a Colt. You can actually change more on a Colt than you can on an FN. What I would do though, if your bushes are done, he probably means lower arms, and if that's the case, I would buy hard race lower arms. Instead of buying new arms and pressing poly bushes in, we're trying to press bushes into old arms, because the holes that the old arms are in, oval, it's just the design is awful. So buy yourself new hard race arms. We could do those. Yeah, I think you're just going to have to drop... Alex, I think you're going to have to drop the turbo support bracket. So there's a turbo support bracket, unbolt that, let it drop, and see if you get it out then. Who shot JR? Oh, I can't remember who shot JR. Was it Sue Ellen? Was that her name? Was that his missus' name? I don't know. I know that Bobby Ewing died, and then he woke up 2 years later in the shower, and that was all a dream. Well, bear with me one moment. Did you say it was Christine? Well, who was the poison dwarf? The little blonde. Was that her? My God, Big Reddies, you got to stop doing that. You're messing with my feed. That's okay. It's just because I'm trying to read people's comments, and then you're doing that, and then all the comments are moving up the list. That was his sister. Christine was his sister. The poison dwarf was his sister. Is that right? Friday. Yeah, that's where that's going. 43. Next. It's my Winifred drew me a Grogu, which is nice, isn't it? Now, she drew that herself freehand, which I'm pretty impressed with. And then she copied the Mandalorian, which I'm also pretty impressed with. There you go. Just in case she's watching. I don't know whether she's watching. She might be. Do you know what I'm dying for? I've just realised. Sue Ellen's sister. Oh, okay. So, was Sue Ellen his wife? Or was that Bobby's wife? Hey, Geordie. Yeah, you need green. Green. I'll use comma, and it's called... hang on, let me remember what it's called. It's not G48 is what you need, Geordie. Also, it's a big job. Heard you need specialist tool. You don't need a specialist tool. It depends how far you go, because you're not going to get the coolant out the block. So what you could theoretically do is like pressurize it, and that would be the specialist tool, and that would completely drain the block, but it would become difficult to put the coolant back in at that point without a specialist tool. So what I would probably do is get as much coolant out as you can, and then just top it up with the coolant that you're going to put in. So that's clear the radiator, clear the hoses out, clear the lines out, etc. That's what I would do. I probably wouldn't go for the full shebang. It's probably not needed either, as long as it's got the right coolant in it, which is green. I say green because it's the easiest way of describing it, but it's G48. It's got particular properties like glyso something. I don't know, but yeah, green is what you need. Sue Ellen's. Both sides. Sorry, Kristen shot JR. Kristen was Sue Ellen's sister. Okay. Do rear sway bars make much of a difference? Ryan, what car's that? Fn2 or Mitsubishi Colt or what? Rear sway bars do make a difference, but on the Mitsubishi Colt and the Fn2, it's a solid fixed rear beam. So the jury is out on that one. On an FN2, again, the jury is out. I think that's going to be one where you're going to have to fit one and see if you can feel a difference. But if you can imagine, that rear beam is one solid-ass piece of metal. On independent rear suspension, perhaps rear beam, that's going to make a big difference. But on a solid rear beam, I'm not so sure, which is why I don't sell a lot of them. But somebody else out there may have all the experience in the world on FN2 rear sway bars, and I'm sure they'll know the answer to that, but unfortunately the jury is out on that for me. His wife, I thought it was going to be his wife. I might have to start watching it again, you know. I liked Falcon Crest, Dynasty. What else did I like? But then again, in the last couple of years, Roger, I've sat and watched Hill Street Blues from the beginning. So that's the kind of era that I like on TV, 80s. Well, in fact, Hill Street Blues is before that, isn't it? But that's my favourite period. Knots Landing. Is it not? Which one was the one where at the end of it, like they got abducted by aliens? Was that Knots Landing? At the end of the actual show, the final, they got abducted by aliens. I'm not sure which one that was. That might have been Knots Landing. I know it might have been Dynasty where the SWAT team comes through the windows, and that was the end of that one. Name 5 things that annoy me about an FN2. Fuel economy. Everyone saying EP3 is better. I can't think of anything. Quickly, what else? Tyres on 18s. I don't like the price of those. Mostly all the things I don't like are monetary in a monetary sense. Rear boot dampness. Don't like that. Name something bad about an FN2. Quick, go. Quick fire.
Rust.
Rust. Underneath. The underside of FN2's rust.
Yeah.
What else?
Rear axle bushes are always knackered.
Rear axle bushes are always knackered. What else?
Flexi lines are a cunt to change.
Flexi lines are difficult to change. There you go. There's 5. That's at least 5 things to keep you going.
RS bonnet vents.
On what?
FN2.
RS bonnet vents, period.
Well,
They're like arseholes, every fucker's got one.
all RS bonnet vents, says our Luke.
Like arseholes, everyone's got one.
Everyone has got an arsehole.
Oh dear.
I've done these packages, Jason.
Yeah, how much cost me?
Shut that door and I'll tell you.
Shut the front door.
It's freezing.
You're wrong with me now.
I think I am the only one from this part of Europe that watches and follows this channel because I respect you people, especially your work on the cars. Thanks, man. Yeah, we appreciate that. This guy does a lot of the work. Hi, Jason. All right, paper, Jason.
Papiani. How much does this cost me, Dan?
Each package has cost you £4.10.
What to post?
Yeah.
Pound per packet, pound per envelope as well.
Mate, what do you do? What do I do? I don't do no, mate.
Swing round on his chair all
See,
day.
I spin round on this chair all day.
So Australian.
I make dreams happen.
Sweet dreams, Daniel.
None of this would have worked without me. How much? Yeah, you owe me £4. 3 times £4, mate.
£4?
£4.10 times 3. £12.30.
Yeah, then you want a pound per one as well.
I'm sure I can. I'm sure I can stomach that.
15 quid in total.
15 quid. Yeah, I've even made £1 profit there. Fantastic. It was worth coming to work for, Jason, just to do that work for you.
What? What's your name? Donkey Piss Black. Daniel John Harris. Irish one. 15 grand.
15 quid. I wonder what Big Reddies do.
Oh well.
This young man here keeps saying follow his channel and like his website. I don't even know who he is or what he's doing yet. So I'm gonna look at it. I'm gonna find out.
Well, please can't find out. What's he doing? Just keeps asking for Face ID. We've got 35 times.
Maybe you've got a dirty face.
Maybe.
Maybe you're an angel with a dirty face.
Oh, Daniel Harris.
You are an angel, Jason.
15.
You're my angel. Right, that's that package done.
Then there's family and friends, yeah, £15. So.
I ran out of manifolds, Jason, and stage 1 clutches. I'm gonna have to get it. And my tool broke. Look at my tool. Oh, you're the best, mate. Look at this. It's broke.
Yeah, where's your twisty bit off the end?
Yeah. And it's spring in it.
Yeah, they do. Where's your springs there?
Yeah. What do I have to do with that?
Give it here. Come here.
God, just fix it. You're a mechanic. Fix that. Fix that.
You're a mechanic. Fix that.
Calm down. Yes, we will check you out, Big Reddies. I'm looking forward to it. Perhaps there's something you can supply us, my friend. I don't know what it is that you do. Right, so that's that part of that task done.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah, I think I might have fixed it.
Oh, you're the best. Thanks, mate.
You're the best.
You're the best.
No, they get fixed tomorrow.
What?
No, they get fixed.
Yeah, Hermes.
My herpes.
My herpes. Oh, I need paper in this printer, Jason. I'm still trying to work whilst doing this YouTube live. They're probably all bored. But, you know, there you go. How many people we got left? How many have we scared off? There's still 9 people there. Hello, everybody. Tell me what you're doing today. If
Shalom.
You're there. Shalom. Shalom.
Shalom, Jackie. Who we got watching then? Anyone we know?
Lewis Cox was on earlier. Roger Doyle, he's alright. How much louder is an Fn2 with a rated manifold?
Depends if it's got a stock system or not.
Yeah, it depends what your exhaust's like.
If it's a stock system, it won't be much louder. But if it's got an aftermarket system, it'll be. I'm going to try and match them up if possible, because that's the best way to fit.
I think the Jap speed, honestly, the Teguar manifold, the Jap speed manifold are identical.
Yeah, there might be, but
We'll see, won't we? We'll see next time. We'll see.
well, we need 2 side by side to compare them.
Yeah. In fact, I might just check that out now and see if there's any stock left. I don't think there is any
Jap
stock.
speed.
Spamming my website because I am broke. What is it that you do? Tell me what you do. How much louder is an Fn2 with a rated manifold? Miltech exhaust. That should be alright. The Miltech exhaust's alright. You got to do it anyway. If you want any power, you got to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, you sell sweets.
Sweets. Everyone loves sweets.
He plays Roblox. James, that's funny. Right.
What's this Big Red's website?
I don't know. Let's say about maybe he's doing sweets like DMO.
Cold Candy.
Cold candy.
Ask him what his website is. Can you fit Jap speed manifold to M2 catback on an Fn2? Yes, you can.
Yeah, that's on my car, Ryan. I got Jap speed manifold fitted to M2 catback on my car. So if you go through my channel, you'll see us fitting that, and you'll also be able to hear what it sounds like on the dyno.
They do need slight modifications though.
They do need slight modification. Hey up, Knots Modified. How you doing? Performance exhaust. Performance exhaust. Exhaust manifolds.
Big Reddies.
Out of stock. Out of stock. Okay, that sucks. Sugar Freedom Sweet Factory.
Is that his website?
Is that your website, Sugar Freedom Sweet Factory?
Looking at the oil pressure gauge, waiting for it to lift.
I'm sound, pal. Yourself? Yes, I'm all good, thank you. Transactions. Look at all this I've got to print out now because you, Jason.
Everything's ready.
It is. This is. I've got paperwork to do now because I've done that for you.
Oh, are you moaning? Sounds like you're moaning.
He just made a pound out of it, so shut up. Hi, Dan.
Bye, mates. I can hear the diesel heater on. I want some of that.
Quit.
Quit. Can't say that. Back. Toy with the idea of a mate. It's the real unlocking of power on the Fn2. Wait till I've got some stock in, Roger. Wait till I've got some stock in, because there's no stock anywhere at the moment. Because all the Tegiwar stuff and all this Japspeed stuff is all exactly the same. It all comes from the same little factory. And I've got to wait till I've got some stock, and then I'm going to start selling them again and get them fitted. And make some dreams happen. Print. Gotta tell you to print. You must be about the same age as me, Roger. Yeah, we're all safe down here at the moment, Knots Mods. I mean, what we are doing is trying to stay as sensible as possible and try and restrict the movement of people around us as much as possible. Keep socially distancing. You know, customers drop cars off for essential work and then go away. That's what we're trying to do at the moment. We can't really do much more than that. Guys, just in case you haven't already, like and subscribe to the channel. If you get a chance, find the little bell icon and click on that. Apparently that's a big YouTube thing, and I've got to make sure that everybody clicks on that bell. Yeah, like and subscribe. The more comments you put in the actual comments section, not the live chat, but in the comment section, the more chance you've got of winning free stuff. You can win hats, you can win hoodies. There's all sorts of stuff that you can win that we send out, so do remember to do that. And guys, if you're watching this video because it's been uploaded to YouTube and you're not watching it live with the rest of us, if you hear anything or any topics today that we've been talking about and you want to talk about them, message us on the Facebook page, say hello, follow the videos, etc. We're here to help. We appreciate that during COVID lockdown time, you can't come here and talk to us about your build, so please do message us, fire that information at us, whether it be email or whatever. We'll come back to you because, you know, we miss being able to interact with people like we used to. 53, a little bit older than me then, my friend, a little bit older than me. Yeah, stay safe, Roger. Yeah, I have the M2 catback, and before the map I want the manifold. Any other parts you recommend? Also been told some better brake lines would make good improvement on the brake feel. Yeah, they will. HEL brake hoses is what I've used. Like I say, if you look at my videos of my white Fn2, you see the stuff that I've done. Now, the M2 catback exhaust doesn't make any power gains on its own. Zero. No power gains at all. Until you get that manifolding cat off, and then the M2 exhaust comes into its own and starts to make some power. So yeah, definitely do that. Yeah, and then get it to us, man, and we'll sort it out. I reckon Big Reddy's wants to send us some sweets. That's what I'm thinking right now. I'm really feeling like he wants to do that to me. He wants to post sweets to Dynodaze so that I can give them to my kids. I think that's what he wants to do. And I won't let Jason eat them all. Wow, all of that. That's going to take me a little while. But buy it. Yes, but buy it. Yes, but buy it. I will, I might. I might just buy cold candy. I don't know. You wouldn't think sweets would be a big business, would you really? We didn't get a haircut. Oh, Jesus, come on, man. So many spammers, aren't there, on Facebook? Just spam city. Anyway, guys, I'm actually using my mobile phone to do this. I have got to go and answer some calls now. But thanks ever so much for watching, listening to me talk nonsense for the last hour or so. So yeah, come back next time and say hello again, and we'll see you all very soon. Bye everyone, thanks. I'm gonna press end now. There we go. Like